Hey YouTube, welcome back to a brand new Animal Crossing New Horizons video. Now it seems like a while since we've covered in-game news, given Animal Crossing New Horizons is almost 5 years old and there aren't many changes year on year. However, we are fast approaching Festivale, the next in-game event which does experience something new for the first time in 2025. So today we'll be exploring Festivale in more detail, breaking down the changes to the event you can expect, and even highlight some tips and tricks along the way that you need to know to make the most out of Festivale this year. So be sure to leave a like, it helps out so much, and let's jump straight in. Now, Festivale is of course the first holiday event of 2025, and this year Festivale actually falls on March 3rd and sees Pave stop by the plaza for the 5th time since New Horizons launched almost 5 years ago now. Don't get me started, I know, it's crazy. Anyway, Festivale is of course inspired by Mardi Gras and celebrations that take place on the last day of Carnival. During Festivale, we will of course be able to collect limited time feather crafting materials and exchange them with Pave for exclusive Festivale themed items. As you'd expect, the event itself plays out much the same as previous years given it is a reoccurring annual holiday. However, there are a few changes players will experience this time around compared to previous years, and even more so if you haven't played recently. Now, unlike other events such as Halloween, Festivale falls on a different date each year. This is because Festivale takes place 40 days before Bunny Day, which also moves around, something Pave reminds us if invited to the Roost, where he discusses Festivale's connection with Lent. In 2025, Festivale takes place on March 3rd, which directly affects the event and introduces a dramatic change when compared to previous years. Not only is this the first time Festivale will have taken place in the month of March since the launch of the game, but this is the only time in the span of 10 years that players will celebrate Festivale in March. As you probably know, it typically falls sometime in February, which is what we have experienced until now. Now, because Festivale takes place in February more often than not, or like 90% of the time, it usually falls in the winter season, meaning Pave's visit is often accompanied by snow, just as it was the last couple of years, which leads us onto the next change you will experience. Given Festivale takes place on March 3rd in 2025 and therefore much later than normal, Festivale falls in the spring this year, long after the snow has melted on the New Horizons island and has turned back into rainfall. This will significantly change the atmosphere of Festivale this year, create some brand new photo opportunities with some nice green grass, and actually be much more in line with celebrating Festivale in the southern hemisphere, who never get to experience Festivale with snow. Yeah, the differences between hemispheres can be weird sometimes. Anyway, experiencing Festivale in March as we are this year won't happen again until 2030, and after the event this year, players will revert back to celebrating Festivale under the cover of snow for a few more years. So big changes in how the event will look for those of us in the northern hemisphere. Now, given that there'll be no snowfall around the time of Festivale in 2025 and we're back to rain, you may be wondering if there's any risk of heavy rain during the event instead. Now, whilst that would be pretty funny to see Pave dancing during a rainstorm, event days in Animal Crossing New Horizons are always set to be fine weather without snow or rain. So for the first time in 5 years, you can expect to celebrate Festivale in March, in spring in the sunshine without a snowflake in sight. But of course, our islands will continue to see the colourful confetti floating around during the event though, just like it did during the winter, which is awesome. Now, whilst the date change and the season Festivale occurs in affects everyone, the next change will depend on the last time you played through Festivale. If you haven't played for a few years or you're new to the game, this next segment will definitely help you. As you know, feathers and rainbow feathers are a large part of the Festivale event. Feathers can be traded with Pave or used to craft rainbow feathers, and rainbow feathers can be traded with Pave or used to customize Festivale themed items items you've already obtained. But an important feature was introduced a couple of years after launch, which means that Cyrus can now be used to customize festival items instead, without the need of rainbow feathers. This saves valuable time catching feathers in order to craft rainbow feathers and means you need less feathers all round. But the importance of this change to Festivale is that feathers aren't really needed outside of the event like they used to be. This is because previously you may want to hoard feathers to use outside of the event in case you wanted to customize festival items in the future. Fortunately, thanks to Cyrus, there's now no pressure to do this anymore, saving space in your storage and time hoarding feathers. Of course, outside of these date and seasonal changes that affect the weather and aesthetics of Festivale, the event remains much the same, with event items also available to purchase from Nook's Cranny in the lead up to the event, which weirdly enough still began appearing on February 1st, despite Festivale falling so late this year, meaning Nook items are actually available for longer than usual, which is nice. Anyway, it's worth remembering if you trade enough times with Pave, you can earn the Festivale float, which is exclusive to the event day itself, so it's definitely worth taking part, especially if you want to experience these changes. But what do you think about these seasonal changes? Is this enough for you to want to jump back into New Horizons and experience something different? Let us know. If you made it to the end of the video, be sure to post Festivale in the comments just to let me know you did, and be sure to include what your favourite Animal Crossing event is. I'd love to know. Thank you so much to the Patreon and channel members for supporting this content. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.